Hi, this is Maria with Petals on Water, and I just waved behind the phone. Sorry. I'm a little bit out of it because we were just making the video about something else, and then we realized before we got into any of that, we had actually decided that we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the terms that we're going to use as we discuss things that are going on with us. Everybody has different terms for their systems, whether it's how they refer to their altars as a collective, whether it's how they define their headspace, just like all sorts of things, because we're all different, okay? It's probably one of the areas where I would have to say that I personally believe that every altar, every system needs to define the way they work. I think general cloaking terms, while helpful in terms of clinical diagnosis or clinical description, don't actually help if you're trying to get people to know you or your system or the people in it, and how you feel about them. I think it's better if you talk about it in terms that you would use, so that they can understand that when you slip into that, hey, this is my term for this and this is what this means. So I figured it was probably best if I went ahead and defined at least some of my headspace. And it's taken me a little bit because I didn't really have a well-defined headspace. Most people with dissociative identities will discuss something called the inner world. And that is the space where you see your alters and the environment that they move in that's not external. It's literally inside your head. So that probably sounds kind of strange, but I don't really know how to explain it. It's like literally behind my eyes, this is what there is. So my headspace basically has 3 different areas, and there might be more, but these are the only 3 I'm really allowed to know about. And it took me a while to figure out what they were called. Okay, so the first part of the headspace, which is the one I'll always motion and do this, okay, that's the bridge. It took me forever to figure out how to describe it, but it's the bridge. I've got this huge view screen like this, okay, and my altars can look out of it. Now, as you might imagine, it's on a bridge, and so that means that there's a lot of altars on deck, and these altars are all running things. Some altars will have more control at a time than others. Some will be running behind the scenes. Some will be switching out a little bit of both, depending on what I need. So there's really a lot of co-consciousness, because my system evidently has always worked like that. It's always been just it's not 2 people in the front seat. It's a bridge running a whole ship. So the front people are usually pretty good at communicating. There are times not so much. I do miss time. I do have people that step off, and so then I don't have those capabilities when they're gone. Like I lost my extroverted altar when we got sick. She posts back now and then more than she did, but she was actually carrying most of the illness, and so we didn't really have that. Like I said, she pops in and out now, but yeah, without her, there's a lot of, I don't know, I don't laugh as much. I mean, I have a sense of humor, I laugh, but it's a little different now. I don't know how to explain it. My smile's different. I've noticed that. First, it was very disturbing to me. I was like, oh my God, my smile's different. So I can tell. I don't know if anybody else can. But yeah, I'll have people step in and out of the bridge. So I guess evidently there's shifts. I don't know, when everybody cycles out and cycles in. But so the front part, and I'll usually reference it like this, okay, is the bridge. There is, so like the bridge is like, say, from the front of my ear, all right? Then about the width of my ear is a space that I would probably call the vestibule. I probably should call it something more like the forest or something, because it's basically like a tree line, like it's an actual forest. Where you enter in, there are 3 trees that support it. At least as far as I know, I don't think there are, these are more the guardians, the demarcators of the bridge to the forest. And there might be more to the forest than just being a forest. Maybe in there is hidden some kind of town or houses or what have you, that altars go to when they're trying to rest. I don't know. I haven't been back there yet. The only thing that I do know is that the trees and the forest are a buffer zone between the bridge and what's behind that. So from behind the ear on back is what I would call the tunnel. The tunnel has, I'm sorry, hang on. It has suppressed memories, and some of those are just for fragmentations. They're not separate altars. I've actually had memories resurface recently, which are a lot different than altars coming to the front. But the tunnel holds all of that. So the tunnel basically is a black tunnel. Yeah, it's a lot like a water slide, except, black. There are lights in the tunnel, and I believe that the lights are repressed memories, altars, and you can see them. In areas, you'll have whole areas where there's just clusters of lights. Some where there are less, some where there are, again, more. It fades in and out. As you get farther back, it seems like there are less. And by farther back, I mean like closer towards, my guess would be the light of consciousness, like your basic human sense of consciousness, whatever humanity springs from. And that's at the end, which I haven't quite made it that far. I don't know, maybe that's, you go into that light, it's all over. I have no idea. So those are, my 3 segments of existence in my head. Like I said, almost everything I'll be talking about will probably be referencing the bridge. And I think it's kind of important. It took me a while to sort that one out, because, I think the realization came when I realized suddenly, I was like, there's not just 2 people at my wheel. Like, that's how everybody describes it. Co-consciousness is, there's 1 person, there's 2 person, and you can't have more than 2 people. And I'm always like, but there is more than that for me. Like, I know there's more than that for me. So why is it that there can only be 2? And I was like, well, strictly speaking, because it's a mental thing, it doesn't have to be 2. And your brain is only ever limited by what you can imagine, by the way you think, by what barriers you put up and barriers you take down. So, strictly speaking, you can have more than 2 people. Okay, so technically I have more than 2 people running this room. Sorry, I'm getting some direction from the back. They're suggesting that I try to explain what's happening now, which is a little hard because my mouth is moving and I'm focusing on this. So, for example, right now, Maria is basically in front. She's doing the talking. Nobody else is doing that. Holding the phone. She might be holding the phone. Actually, I think she's mostly doing everything. Right now, I think Anais is actually feeding the information, because we're concentrating on what we're doing, and you can't see it behind my glasses, but my eyes are actually like looking at the top of my house. And we're like literally focused on that, because we're trying to be as both external and internal at the same time. A lot of times when we're internal, that would be when you would see us staring off into space. not doing anything. Hang on, we got the fly. And that would be like almost exclusively, hey, there's no one actually at the bridge. We're all like in a meeting or something about something. And we don't always let the host know. So they're just sort of left standing there going, So kind of focusing on inside and outside at the same time usually takes a little bit of work. Usually when we're doing that in the video, you'll see us pause and kind of stare off to the side, and that's us trying to be present out here and in there at exactly the same time. So it's a little bit difficult. So like Anais was feeding the information. Maria's holding it. I'm holding it. I'm talking to you. Who else do we have going on here? Well, we're relatively still, so actually I don't think very many people, and we're pretty focused on the video, so I think that might actually be it. Sometimes we have to really work though, and sometimes we switch out. Like I'll notice oftentimes I always have to go back and rewatch these things because people will hop in and out, and I don't realize it, and I'll go back through and go, oh wow, I didn't even realize I put that there. So that's always a little jarring, and sometimes I really have to think about things before I post them. And I tend to kind of leave things on, excuse me, unless it's like a total train wreck, because I guess we sort of feel like this is who we are, like this is what we do, and if you were going to talk to us in real life, this is what you'd get. So I'd imagine sometimes conversations like these have sort of been like this. Maybe I repeat things. Maybe I keep talking when I think I'm not talking anymore. That sort of thing. So, I don't know. It never seems too jarring in terms of I'm looking at it and I go, oh my God, that's so different. No, it's more like, oh my God, did I really? I don't remember that at all. Wow, and look, it's so seamless. I didn't even know I did that. Small differences maybe, but, like if I start saying so a lot, Tony's usually the so person. If I start saying things like y'all or cursing, it's probably Ruth. So like we all have little different idiosyncrasies, but if I start speaking more organized or more intellectually, that's Daniel or Anais. We all do little things and have different functions. The really, really hard thing, doing this video now just is almost, it's too bad, because Lacey, who actually started this, is really good at explaining what's going on in the head. And it would have been absolutely nothing for her to sit there and tell you, okay, this is happening with this is happening now. Because she is... outside of the host, she was here the longest in terms of consistency. So it's not that the others didn't exist, although I'm getting that they really, most of them aren't that old. But she's pretty much consistently and for the longest time been up here and been working. So even though she's kind of a kid, she's actually been at this for... and I can do math, 45 years. So, a 45-year-old kid. Go figure. Oh wait, that's me. So, anyway, that's kind of my head terms. Bridge, vestibule, tunnel. And I guess I gave you a few alter names, some things to look out for. Evidently they're feeling a little more comfortable, which might be handy. It might be handy. So anyway, I think that's all we have to say for today. And before I go, I'll just have you look around here. Let you listen. Have a little nice breathe there. So, sorry, I love the bird song. If you like me to do the videos outside during the day when it's nice and chirpy, Let me know. Comments. I love comments. I think, Joey, that I'm speaking with you, but anybody else want to? Hey, I love it when you do. So I hope you are all having a great summer, and I hope you have a safe and happy 4th of July weekend, and I hope that you're all staying healthy. All right, bye.